Whew, sorry for being late, guys. This stream was actually originally for 4 o'clock, and then I put 4:20, and I still was late. So, like I said, sorry for being late, but nonetheless, we're gonna get on to everything. If you are new to my channel, I am Boss Attorney Bree. I am a California licensed attorney, and I practice trademark and family law mainly, and also a little bit of business law. And on my channel, we cover celebrity lawsuits, and we also cover like famous trademark lawsuits or trademark lawsuits in general. But today, there are a bunch of different things going on, and we're going to kind of be talking about them. I used to not keep up with celebrity drama and all of that stuff, but when I started seeing that the legal side is something that people like explain, that's when I started covering this. So I did not know that all of these lawsuits were actually going on until I started doing my research for my next show, my next live YouTube show. So I kind of wanted to cover a couple of these. I know we usually only cover one case to make sure that we cover everything, but today, we're going to be covering three different things just to kind of talk about what's going on with the law and the celebrities that are getting in trouble. And so I see we have a couple people in the chat. Make sure you drop and let me know where you guys are watching from. We have Zinz that says, "What's up, boss? Welcome. Thank you for coming to the live chat. And what's up with you? I hope that you guys are super interested in this topic. I know a lot of the law tubers have been talking about the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, which has been one heck of a thing. And if you're not watching it, make sure you check it out on Legal Bites channel. Sometimes I pop in. Today I wasn't able to, but I'll be popping in next week. We have Zint watching from Detroit. Oh, that's cool. I've never been to Detroit. Hopefully, I don't know if it's a good place to visit. What are some good little things that they have there to experience? But I would love to, travel a little bit more throughout the United States. And then we have Hello Swanky watching from Oakland today. Oh, welcome. I am in the Sacramento area, so we are not that far apart. And I was actually born in Oakland. All right, and so we have my father's son, Akron, Ohio. Never heard of that, but definitely interested to visit more places. Let me know if the where you guys are good places to visit. And then we have the Honorable Tom. Greetings from Lancaster, CA. Okay, another California person. Like I said, I'm in the Sacramento area. Not, I think is Lancaster more towards the LA area? I think so. I don't know. I'm not good with geography, guys. All right. And then Zin says, I don't recommend coming here. That's why I asked, because I do hear some bad things about it, but I still like to, know what's going on with everybody else and how you guys live life there. All right. So today we have three cases that we're going to be going over. They're all celebrity cases. It has to do with Chris Rock and what would he be suing for if he decided to sue Will Smith for that Oscar slap. And then we have Blac Chyna, whose lawsuit against the Kardashians is going forward. They're actually going to start jury selection tomorrow on April 15th. So that trial should be starting sometime next week. And we're going to be able to figure out if Blac Chyna is going to be able to prove her case. And just a little tidbit on that, the Kardashians did seek for it to be dismissed. And the judge said that there were some facts and was some evidence there that could allow Blac Chyna to prove her case. So it will be very interesting to see if she actually wins this next week. It's not as big as Johnny Depp trial, but it's still going to be something interesting. And for those of you that know me, I'm not a Kardashian fan, so we know they're always getting sued. So let's see if Blac Chyna can win this lawsuit against them. All right, and then we have my father's son says Akron. That's where LeBron's from. I'm not a basketball fan. I'm sorry, guys. I kind of live under a rock. And then hey, Brittany, my name is actually Brianna. The Bree is short for Brianna. All right, from AD. And then we have Hello Swanky. Oh, wow, how cool. Had no idea. Been to SAC a couple of times. I was accidentally born in the city, but I'm East Bay bred and raised. Okay, well, like I said, we are close. My parents are more from that area. They're from Richmond. And then they moved us to like Fairfield. And then now I live in Sacramento. So Sacramento area actually. So Yeah, I got a lot of family down in Oakland. All right, we have the Honorable Tom says Lancaster is just north of LA. Okay, I knew a little bit about geography. I'm usually not that good. I used to live in Citrus Heights years ago. Okay, yeah, I live pretty close to Citrus Heights, so I'm well familiar with Sac Town. All right, and then we have Lancaster is further south. Okay, yeah, see, I know a little bit of geography. I'm not as bad as I thought I was. And guys, if you're watching live, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button. If you're watching on the replay, make sure to go ahead and hit the like button. Thank you for letting me know where you guys are watching from. I know I'm new to live streaming, and a lot of you have come from different channels. So I just like to get to know who's watching me live and also on the replay. So the next case, or the last case that we're going to go over, is Snoop Dogg. I did not know that Snoop Dogg was being sued for trafficking in a civil complaint, which those ones are always really interesting to me because it seems like it should be something that's more criminal, but people come forth and they want their money, so they sue them in civil court. So we'll go a little bit through the complaint, and then we'll talk about why it got dismissed and how all of that stuff went down. So let's go ahead and hop right into the whole Chris Rock incident. And I'm just going to kind of go over some brief notes for you guys to kind of refresh you of what happened if you do not know about this slap that Chris Rock had against him from Will Smith. That was what they call heard around the world. The slap heard around the world. All right. So for those of you who don't know, Chris Rock is a comedian slash actor, and he was hosting the Oscars when he made a joke about Will Smith, who is also a famous actor and rapper, mostly an actor, um, made a joke about Will Smith's wife, Jada Pickett, and Will Smith decided he was going to handle that by getting on stage and slapping Chris Rock. A lot of people have been making notes and things, saying things about how Chris Rock has not really responded to the slap or given his opinion on the slap. He also has had some comedy shows going on where he briefly mentioned the slap and let the crowd know that he wouldn't necessarily be talking about it, um, because he had already prepared the show before the slap happened, right? The Oscars was like what, on the weekend, and then he had the show like the next Wednesday or something of that nature. So he said he wouldn't be talking about the slap much. But what a lot of people are speculating, and there has been some news that he has hired a law firm. Do we know if it's for the slap? Could it potentially be for the slap? We don't necessarily know, but it could potentially be because of the slap. So I kind of wanted to talk about some of the legal grounds that Chris Rock may be able to sue under. If you guys have any ideas of whether Chris Rock should sue, go ahead and leave it in the chat. If you're watching on the replay, leave it in the comments. And on what grounds do you think that he should sue? So before I get into my notes here about some of the potential grounds that he can sue on, I'm going to check the comments to see if anybody that's here live have some good grounds that they think that he should sue on. And so we have, whoa, trafficking, not human trafficking though, right? I certainly hope not. It is human trafficking. It's one particular person suing him, but they sued anonymously, just like in the Chris Brown case that we covered on this channel. Chris Brown was sued for R allegations for the purpose of the YouTube algorithm. SA basically touching a woman that didn't want to be touched is what Chris Brown was sued for, and a Jane Doe sued him. So they sued anonymously. The same thing happened here with Snoop Dogg earlier this year, like before the Super Bowl. I think they filed this year, but they started bringing up the claims sometime last year in October. So yes, it is for human trafficking, but it's for one person that's suing him. We have Zinsan. I was about to ask the same thing. I think you're referring to the trafficking of humans. And then that's wild. I just looked up. Apparently, yep, yep. You guys are right. It is. For Snoop Dogg, I think there are some assault claims against him, but the main headline is that it was a human trafficking or sex trafficking lawsuit. So we're gonna get into that one last. I don't see anything coming in about what grounds you think Chris Rock can be sued under. Oh, I can't wait to hear about this. A civil suit by one person for trafficking. Yeah, we're going to get into it. It's a very long complaint, too, guys. It's about 70 pages. And I think I forgot to download the dismissal, so I might have to do that while you guys are on here with me live. I'm gonna have to recheck into my files to see if I have the dismissal, because it did end up getting dropped. All right. So all right, we don't see any grounds for the Chris Rock thing. We're gonna get into Snoop Dogg a little later. I see you guys are a little interested in that, so I can't wait to get into that for you. So, some of the grounds that I think that Chris Rock can potentially sue on is not only going to be against Will Smith, it could be potentially against the Oscars. One of the theories might be premise liability. And before I get into that, it's being rumored that he has hired a New York law firm. So can't I really don't know where the Oscars was hosted. I probably should have looked into that. Like I said, I don't be watching all of that stuff all the time. But he hired a New York or it's rumored that he's hiring a New York law firm. So he could potentially be suing in New York. And if the Oscars was not hosted in New York, then wherever it was hosted at. So we have premise liability. Usually, when you are having an event where there's a crowd, you are going to have liability insurance. You're going to need to provide some security. You're going to need to make sure that it's hard for people to get on the stage in order to rush the stage and hurt the host or hurt anyone on the stage. So it may be some premise liability there if they did not put up the proper barricades or whatever to access the stage. However, I think that grounds may be a little shaky because it is the Oscars, and there are people consistently coming up to the stage to accept their award or to present their award. So it's probably pretty hard to put barricades up to make sure no one gets on the stage. What they probably did have was security blocking the entrances to the stage, and they probably let Will Smith up there because he is a celebrity. It's not like he was some random person just trying to rush the stage. There was probably no reason why they would believe that Will Smith will slap Chris Rock, because Will Smith has not been known in the public to be very aggressive. He's always been pretty the cool, calm, collective guy, right? So with the premise liability, I don't know if they were required to have any barricades or anything like that, just because there are people consistently going on to the stage. All right. And another grounds, if you guys don't have any ideas of what the grounds can be, would be the negligent security. Again, I would imagine that they have people at the exit or at the entrance to the stage that allows people to come in on or off the stage, and the security probably just let him up because they didn't know what he was going to do. And so the question there would be if they had a duty to stop people who were not accepting awards, even if they are celebrities, from coming on the stage. And if they did have that duty, did they breach it? Technically, if they did have the duty, and celebrities or people not accepting awards should not have come on the stage, then they will probably be able to show that they breached that duty. But it has to be decided whether they even had the duty in the first place not to let Will Smith on the stage after Chris Rock addressed his wife. He could have been coming up to give a joke, because Will Smith is pretty funny too, right? Okay, let me know what you guys think about those causes of actions that they can potentially have against the Oscars. The next thing would be against Will Smith, which would be for public humiliation and embarrassment. This one could happen. The thing that will be hard for him on this is if he's just kind of suing just because at this point, in order to prove damages, he's probably not going to really be able to prove damages unless in the near future he starts losing roles because people don't want to hire him or don't want to host his comedy show because of the slap. But after this slap, his ticket sales actually increase, so it will be pretty hard to prove damages unless he just wants to sue to get the recognition that Will Smith did publicly embarrass him. He's probably not going to win much money from Will Smith on damages if his ticket sales keep going up. All right. And then so we have you think assault? Yes, I think assault is a good one as well. So he would probably be able to prove damages if he was hurt, if he had some hospital bills, if he needed to go to therapy after it because he is going through so much embarrassment, which will also go for the public humiliation and embarrassment. Assault, he can get some damages for like therapy, and punitive damages and things like that. So yeah, assault is a really good one. I didn't put that one on my list against Will Smith, but that's probably the obvious one, right? Battery and assault under the civil law. And then we have, oh, I can't wait to hear about this civil suit about one person trafficking. Okay, I guess I saw those ones. I missed that one earlier. I think it'll be tough to hold the Oscars liable. I think so too. Just depending on whether they have that duty to stop Will Smith for coming up onto the stage, because they couldn't expect that he would do that, especially since Will Smith, they couldn't have known because Will Smith it or they'll have to prove that they couldn't have known because Will Smith is seen as the good guy in the public light. We never seen him slap nobody before. So why would we think he's gonna slap somebody now? And then he's also had all of these issues with other celebrities and his wife embarrassing him on the interweb or on her TV show, her Facebook show, and he hasn't slapped anybody because of that. So the Oscars could be like, hey, we didn't know. We shouldn't have known that he would do that because he's never done that before. So yeah, and then we have, has it been confirmed he's suing Will Smith? I missed that. No, it hasn't been confirmed that he's suing Will Smith, but it's being rumored that he has hired a law firm and he could potentially be suing Will Smith. All right. And we have Chris was a hired employee and he was not protected while on the job. And are you saying that to say that the Oscars should be liable because they're supposed to make sure that their employees are protected? Potentially, but I think it can also be an argument that Will Smith is kind of an outside force that they couldn't have really predicted. After he made a joke about his wife, it could be some argument that they could have predicted that that would happen. So security really should have stopped him. But as far as like not having the ceiling fall down on them, then yes, that would be the Oscars' responsibility. But I do think that they will have to prove that the Oscars had a duty not to let Will Smith onto the stage. All right. One celeb assaulting another celeb, especially Will Smith, is not a reasonably foreseeable occurrence. That's what I'm thinking their Oscars is going to hold on to. Why would we think Will Smith would do that? He's such a nice guy. He has slapped someone before. Will Smith has slapped someone before in the public. I didn't know about this. I'm gonna have to look into that. Oh gosh. They had the duty to protect him. Yes. That would be the what do you call it? Can't think of the word. That would be what Chris Rock will be putting forward. Like, hey, the Oscars have the duty to protect me, to stop this from happening or to prevent this from happening. And that's what he would have to put to the court. And if the court thinks that that is reasonable, then it can go forward into a lawsuit. Or they may settle it with him. A lot of lawsuits don't actually go to trial. A lot of lawsuits end up settling. But being that these are two celebrities, I don't really see it settling because a lot of times when celebrities are in lawsuits, they kind of want to prove their point and they're not money hungry. Chris Rock is not going to be money hungry like someone accusing Chris Brown of doing something to them. They're going to settle out of court because $3 million is a lot to them. To Chris Rock, it's probably not a lot to him. He more wants to prove his point in court, like, hey, you shouldn't be doing this to people on national TV. I don't see any reason why the venue should be held liable for something like that. I don't think it will be the venue. I think it will be more of the Oscars as the host of the event. So whatever building they actually had it in, they wouldn't be liable, but the Oscars would. All right. Okay, cool. I really hope he's not suing him. I'm also very biased or rather have a very strong opinion, but this plus it's not in favor of Rock. Chris Rock shouldn't have said what he said, but when you come into the Oscars and you come into events like that, they do make jokes. But in the reason why he made the joke, and at first I didn't get the joke, and then I looked into it about Jada Pinkett having alopecia. So yeah, it was messed up for him to make that joke. And apparently they had some beef even before all of this, Jada Pinkett and Chris Rock. So he might have had it coming. Not saying it's right to beat people up, but he might have had it coming. Who has Will Smith slapped before in public? I would like to know that as well. They rehearsed the show and he wasn't on it. You mean Will Smith? I don't think so. Yeah, I think that at first I thought it was staged because Chris Rock really didn't react, but apparently it was not staged. Um, no way that would have been all over the news. Will Smith has not slapped someone before in public, not unless it was part of a bit or both people consented, which I thought it was going to be pretty staged. Um, I don't know, but maybe he slapped someone not in public or maybe before he was famous. But then again, if he did it not in public or before he was famous, then of course they still wouldn't know. He slapped a reporter that thought he was trying to kiss him years back. Okay, I'll have to look into that. But I feel like that's a justified slap, right? If someone's trying to kiss you and you don't want to be kissed, maybe not a slap, but I feel like that's a justified slap. The one he did to Chris Rock was a little out of the blue. Um, but to protect his wife, because she wasn't really in physical harm, but to stand up for her. I just looked it up. Will Smith slapped the reporter. Yep, for some reason, didn't read a lot about it. And that was in 2012. So apparently, Will Smith slapped people before, but I kind of think that's justified if it was because the reporter was trying to kiss him. That's kind of like sexual assault. So yeah. Uh, enjoyed the show. Gotta go. Thanks for your time. Thank you for coming in, Fancy and Free. Um, is subletting better than an assignment? Are you talking about for housing? All right. Plus equals and. Oh yeah, I got that. I got the plus equals and. Da-da-da. Yeah, wasn't that wasn't a slap. He pushed his face away in self-defense. Totally not the same thing. I would agree with that, Hella Swanky. It was in public. I saw the video. Yeah, that was a justified slap. Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm on the the realm that that was a justified slap. Okay. And so you're just answering the question. Yeah, no problem. We got it. But no, it seems like a lot of people didn't know about the slap that Will Smith gave to the reporter. So thank you for sharing that with us. I think it educated a lot of people here. I like to fish. Welcome back to the stream. Thank you for joining. That wasn't protecting his wife. He went after someone that wouldn't fight back. He should have slapped August. That is what a lot of people is saying. That's why I said he hasn't slapped anyone that's really, embarrassed him before. So why did he go and slap Chris Rock? And like I said, he was probably thinking that he was defending his wife, but not to me, it wasn't necessarily protection because she wasn't in physical harm's way. He could have, talked to him after the show, but I think with all the things going on in the media, a lot of people are saying, oh, he's been embarrassed so much, he had to stand up for once while he was right there in the public eye. I think he could have talked to Chris Rock about it. I don't think it should have gone that far to physically go and slap him off of one comment. But who knows? Maybe he's been making comments and Chris Rock had it coming. Who knows? We don't know what the celebrities fight about behind the scenes. Um, Forgot about a different situation, and here we go. All right. So that was all I had on Chris Rock. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think he should sue? Or do you think that it'll be unjustified if he sues? Do you think that they can handle it like just kind of behind the scenes? Like I said, he can potentially sue the Oscars and he can also potentially sue Will Smith. All right. So next, we are going to be jumping over to the Blac Chyna lawsuit. Let me know if you guys know about that. She's suing the Kardashians for several reasons, and we're going to go over the things that she's suing them for. We have Hella Swanky says, yeah, that's true. The legal standpoint, there's more into it than legalities. Yep. And Will should slap Jada and his son's friend. We are not promoting domestic violence on this stream. I repeat, we are not promoting domestic violence on this stream. Okay, comedians talk about everybody. That's what I said. They make jokes all the time. I understand it's a situation where it's sensitive because of her alopecia, but at the same time, it's like it's a comedian. But like I said earlier, apparently they had beef since 20 years ago. So they might have been going at it for a while. Jada and Chris Rock actually had beef, according to the tabloids. But okay. All right. So next we have Blac Chyna's lawsuit against the Kardashians. Blac Chyna is suing them for several reasons. There's about 11 causes of action. I only have the first page of the complaint. Since this is not a federal court case, you have to buy the complaint from LA County, and LA County is expensive for a complaint, and that complaint was like 70 pages or something like that, so it would have cost like $30. and it was super long, and we don't need to go over it on the stream. So we're just going to go over the first page, which lets us know what the causes of action are. So if you guys have been following the rest of LawTube, you know that Johnny Depp trial is going on, and they are actually filming it so that people can see what's going on. You can actually watch the trial. In this case, they requested for it to be covered by the media, but that request was denied. So we will not have eyes on the floor seeing what's actually going on in the trial. Apparently, the Kardashians that are being sued will be testifying there. Their lawyer is trying to have them only go one day because they think that the Kardashians being there is going to draw a lot of attention to the court. But as we've seen in other famous trials, a lot of people don't be showing up to the court. The Cardi B case, the Johnny Depp case, there's really not that many people sitting in the crowd. So maybe people love the Kardashians that much in LA. I don't know. But they're trying to make it so that their clients don't have to go all the time. She initially sued all the sisters and the brother Rob Kardashian, but some of them got dismissed from the lawsuit. So I think there's only like 4 people that are left in the lawsuit now. Blac Chyna is complaining because the Kardashians, she's alleging that the Kardashians interfered with her money because they talked to the network that had the Rob and Chyna show and got the show discontinued. Blac Chyna is claiming that she was making $92,500 per episode while that show was running, and that she was supposed to get a second season. And because of the Kardashians being very close with the network, she was not able to get her second season, and thus taking her money away and not making it so that she's not able to provide for her children. I don't know if you guys keep up with Blac Chyna, but she was tweeting a couple of weeks ago about how Rob Kardashian doesn't pay her any child support. Rob Kardashian clapped back and said he pays for other things, so why would he pay her child support? But basically, Blac Chyna is out here like she needs some money, and the Kardashians are the reason why she lost money 4 years ago, and for some reason, she has not been able to get the money back. And jury selection begins tomorrow on April 15th. So the trial should be starting sometime next week, like I said earlier in the stream. And Blac Chyna is seeking $40 million in lost earnings and $16 million in loss of future earning capacity. And she's also seeking additional damages, including punitive damages. So Blac Chyna is really coming for her money. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going to go ahead and share the first page of the complaint so we can see exactly what she's suing for and whether you guys think that these are realistic reasons to be suing for and whether you think she's going to win or not. And unfortunately, we don't have the facts because I did not want to buy the $30 complaint, but we do have what she's actually suing over. But let me go ahead and get these comments before we get into that. Okay, fair enough. He should have coaxed Jada into attacking him and then slap her in self defense. Okay, I'm still not promoting it. And so, why does no one talk about the fact that Will also slept with someone during the part of their relationship when they were mutually separated and about to divorce? All right, and then Dent's gotta go. Thank you for coming in the live stream. I think no one really talks about it because the issue with the whole Jada thing is that August was living in their house and he was best friends with their child. And I think August Alsina was also either underage or very close to just being legal. So, or that she knew him while he was underage or just very close to being legal. And Jada Pinkett is clearly a lot older than August. So I think that's why they talk more about Jada and August, because August was in their house versus Will Smith cheating or sleeping with whoever he was sleeping with. And they had an open relationship. And as you're saying as well, is that they were separated. So I think the circumstances are a little bit different just because August was younger and he was best friends with the son, and he was in their house. So that's my opinion. I don't know if that's the real reason. All right, so let's jump into Blac Chyna's complaint before we hop over to Snoop Dogg's complaint about the trafficking that he got dropped. All right, so let me share my screen here. Oops, add to stream. There we go. All right, let's zoom in to make sure everybody can see. So this was filed back in 2017 by Blac Chyna. She is suing for assault, which I believe is just against Rob Kardashian, battery. Again, that's physical abuse, which I think is just against Rob Kardashian. Distribution of private materials, which is basically revenge porn, which again I think is only against Rob Kardashian. Domestic violence, again against Rob Kardashian, because apparently they had some physical disputes. And then I think they also had a separate lawsuit where Rob sued her for domestic violence, and either I can't remember correctly if it got dropped or if Rob actually won. She's suing for harassment. I'm not sure if that's against everybody, but I'm sure it's against Rob Kardashian. And then we have intrusion into private affairs. I think that's against everybody because she believes that the Kardashians went to the network and started talking to try to get her show canceled. And it could potentially be into the relationship with Rob Kardashian and Blac Chyna. Then we have putting her in a false light, basically making lies about her and putting it out to the public. Or, in other words, it's a form of defamation, spreading untrue things about this person. Disclosure of private facts, exactly what it says, putting out information that are supposed to be private out to the public and spreading it. And usually you can use this when someone spreads things about you, but you don't want those things spread about you, but you can't prove that they're false. So it could be potentially true things that they're saying about her, or it could be potentially false things that they're saying about her, but she can't necessarily prove that they're all the way false. Also suing for defamation, again, encompasses false light and disclosure of false private facts, just a way to get more money under the lawsuit. And then we also have interference with contractual relations, which is one of the main parts of the lawsuit. She's basically suing for the Kardashians getting her show canceled. I would really love to see what evidence she has to show that they actually interfered with her contract. Did they really have the pool that she's saying that they had in order to get the show canceled? And then again, interference with prospective economic relations, same thing. And so when you are reading these articles and it says like tortious interference, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about the fact that they went in and potentially got her show canceled. So let me know what you guys think about Blac Chyna and her show getting canceled and whether you think she's going to be able to win. Like I said, she sued the entire Kardashian clan. As we see, it's Angela White versus Robert Kardashian, Kris Jenner, Kimberly Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian, Kourtney Kardashian, Kendall Jenner, and Kylie Jenner. And then those 1 through 100, which is basically anyone who they forgot to name that may be liable, they can add them into the lawsuit later. I believe that Kendall got dropped, and I think Rob got dropped. I can't remember, but some people got dropped out of the lawsuit, and there's only so many people left into the lawsuit. So let me know if you guys knew about this. Um, and if you think that Blac Chyna is going to win, like I said, I don't know all of the facts. There was like a 47-page document submitted for exhibits. So listing all of the exhibits, 47 pages. So I feel like it's going to be a pretty lengthy trial to prove this. And apparently all of the Kardashians that are still named in the lawsuit are going to be testifying in the lawsuit. So I wish it did have cameras in there so that we could see what was going on, but apparently they're not going to have that. We have sexism plus double standards. That's go with gender. I think that you guys are talking about what do you call it? Will Smith and Jada Pinkett still, right? All right. And then okay, I just had to break up a dog argument back. Maybe should have gotten cats. Okay, yeah. I never I've had multiple dogs when I was a child, but not since I've been an adult. So I'm sorry for your dog fight struggle, but welcome back to the stream. You guys don't seem that interested in Blac Chyna and the things that she has going on. So we're gonna hop right over to Snoop Dogg and his sex trafficking claims, the lawsuit that he has had against him. Like I said, I think I forgot to download the dismissal. So let me double check that right now and see if I'm going to need to go and get that so that we can go over why it got dismissed. Because today has been a pretty long day for me. So let me just pop in here and see if we can find what I have for Snoop Dogg. Yeah, looks like I did not get the dismissal, so I'm gonna have to grab that real quick and then we'll be able to go ahead and if it's available for free, because I do not want to pay for it. Okay, so the Snoop Dogg complaint number. Now, I'm sorry I didn't have this done already, guys, but we want to see how he was able to get it dismissed. And oh, I think I can copy and paste this, right? Let's see if we can find that. And then we are just looking for the documents for Calvin Brodus is Snoop Dogg's real name. All right, so what is this? This is the complaint. Yeah, so it was filed in February 2022, right after the, or is that before the Super Bowl or after the Super Bowl? I cannot remember. Let's see. All right. Notice a motion to dismiss plaintiff's complaint. All right. Let's download that. And let's talk about Snoop Dogg. Let me know if you guys knew about this. I was very shocked to read about it and see that Snoop Dogg have been sued for I think it's assault and trafficking, human trafficking. And it's a long complaint, so got a couple things to go to. Okay, let me pull this back up. And like I said, guys, I'm sorry that I didn't have this pulled up before, but it is here now and we are ready to get moving on it. We have I like to fish. After he got ownership of Death Row, this came out. Yeah, it came out, or I don't know if I think they started talking about it before it was actually filed, but it was filed in February this year. So they got it dismissed pretty quick because it's only April. All right. So the complaint, like I said, is pretty long. It's 78 pages. So we're not going to read all of that today. So what I'm going to go through is basically the causes of action and the facts that are common to all of the causes of action. And guys, they have a bunch of things on here. So let's pop over to it. It says, wait, is Chris Rock suing? It has not been confirmed that he's suing yet, but it is being alleged that he has either hired a law firm in New York or that he is in the process of hiring a law firm in New York. But we don't know why he's hiring that law firm. It could be for completely different reasons, but people are speculating it's because of the slap. And they're speculating that especially because he hasn't really been talking about it. So we don't know if he's suing yet, but we'll see, I guess, in the near future. Very rarely know about celebs pop culture happening until way later or never. Yeah, that's me. I just come on here to explain it, but normally I'm not keeping up with it. No apologies necessary. Take your time. Thank you for that. You know, live streaming is a little nerve wracking, so I definitely appreciate that. Makes sense in terms of timing. If this is old, yeah. Okay, so let's look at the complaint here. Let me make it bigger so you guys can see the little words. All right. So, like I said earlier, this is being filed by a Jane Doe, which basically means she wants to remain anonymous, but she's suing him for trafficking. So he probably knows who it is, but people in the public won't know who it is. And this happened with Chris Brown recently when he got sued for the rape allegations. But that woman was a dancer. So anyone that, well, this woman is a dancer too, actually. Yeah, so one of his dancers is suing him. So he of course knows who it is, but the public will not know who it is. She is suing Calvin Brodus, which is Snoop Dogg's real name, and Donald Campbell, which is Bishop Don Juan. So it's not just Snoop Dogg, but Bishop Don Juan is also being sued. And then also suing Snoop Dogg's LLCs and all of his other companies. So Mary Jane Events, Casa Verde Capital, and Snoop Dogg LLC and the Brodus Collection. And as you can see over on this side here, where's my little highlighter? Over on this side here, they have 13 causes of action of why she is suing him. So the first thing is going to be Trafficking Victims Protection Act. So human trafficking, sexual battery, sexual assault, retaliation under Title 7. I do not remember what that is off the top of my head. Retaliation in violation of FEHA, harassment in violation of the FEHA, aiding and abetting in violation. So basically, someone helped him do these violations. Failure to prevent harassment and retaliation in violation of the FEHA, defamation, false light. We just saw this in the Blac Chyna case. So we're going for the defamation things. Intentional infliction of emotional distress, basically saying, hey, that you caused me emotional distress and you did it intentionally. But she also has a backup and says negligent infliction of emotional distress and unlawful retaliation in violation of California labor law. This is in the federal court, probably because it's a trafficking case and they potentially cross state lines since Snoop Dogg is a celebrity, and he has shows in different states. All right. So, yep, we don't have any comments going on. So, here we go. Like I said earlier, we're just going to kind of go over like the basic facts of it and then the actual cause of action and what they mean. And then we'll go over to Snoop Dogg's dismissal documents. And then I think I can also pull up the judgment as well. I didn't do that, but I probably should do that here. We also have her voluntary dismissal. Actually, she has a voluntary dismissal, so that's probably why the judge dismissed it. All right, I got all into my train of thought there. Okay, so she voluntarily dismissed it, and then we have the order. Okay, so you guys can still see the other screen, but you can't see what I'm doing over here. All right, so Plaintiff Jane Doe, by and through her attorneys, Derek Smith Law Group, hereby complains of defendant Calvin Brodus, aka Snoop Dogg, individually with Donald Campbell, aka Bishop Don Juan, and all of his LLC, all of Snoop Dogg's LLCs, upon further and upon information and belief as follows. So they're making these allegations as far as they know. The nature of the case: plaintiff brings this action charging defendants by Plaintiffs bring this action charging defendants violated plaintiffs' rights pursuant inter alia, Trafficking Victims Protection Act, and laws of the state of California based upon the supplemental jurisdiction of this court. They cited a case seeking damages to redress the injuries of plaintiffs suffered as a result of being sexually assaulted, battered, retaliated against, harassed, and defamed. So she has a bunch of things that she is suing for. All right, so there's jurisdiction and venue, why the courts have the right to settle this case, the parties in the case. We're going to skip all of that because we know who Snoop Dogg is. I think most of us know who Magic Don Juan is. And then we're going to go right down to the facts and comment of all causes of action. At all times, material plaintiff was and is a female residing in the state of California, hence why she's suing in California. Throughout plaintiff's career, plaintiff has worked as a professional dancer, model, actress, host, and spokesmodel for Muse Inc. Festival, Comedy Central, and CNN. That would probably identify her to a lot of people, especially the people that work for these companies. For several years, plaintiff was employed by, and performed with defendant Snoop Dogg LLC, all of his LLCs, and other rappers who toured with defendant Snoop Dogg, such as Weston Fry, Little Nate Dogg, Corrupt, Sugar Free, and Warren G. They're naming everybody here. During these performances, plaintiff worked with defendant Snoop Dogg and defendant Snoop Dogg's companies. Defendant Snoop Dogg and his companies employed plaintiff as a dancer on stage as part of their concerts and shows. Defendant Snoop Dogg is the owner of the LLCs. Plaintiff obtained exposure as a dancer for defendants, which allowed plaintiff to obtain sponsorships, modeling jobs, and event hosting. Many of these sponsorships and modeling jobs were also distributed nationwide. So she is basically laying the foundation that she worked for him, and so he had the potential to either stop her money for coming in or making it so that she can make money. So that's why whatever he would have said to the industry about her would potentially damage her. So we have Dav's Dav's Beats, Dave's Beats or Dav's Beats. Welcome to the live stream. Snoop, who that? You don't know who Snoop Dogg is? Well, he's Snoop Dogg. I think a lot of people know who Snoop Dogg is, but he's a rapper out of Compton, or LA. I don't know. Let me stop spreading facts. But yeah, he's a rapper. And yeah, a lot of people know who Snoop Dogg is. I assume you're just kidding, though. Okay. Defendant Campbell, which is Magic Don Juan, is the agent and employee for the defendants LLCs, would tell plaintiff Snoop wants you here. Oh, sorry, you guys can't see. I think my Wi-Fi is glitching a little bit, so sorry for that if that's happening for you guys. Um, Magic Don Juan will basically tell the plaintiff, Snoop wants you here. This will make you go viral, and this is for your career. So he's saying these things to her to encourage her to stay and perform whatever acts that she is alleging that Snoop Dogg wanted her to do. By doing this, defendant Campbell demonstrated that plaintiff will be compensated for her work with defendants, and that she will be working for defendants at shows and concerts which defendants profited from. Defendant Campbell, which is Magic Don Juan, as agent of the defendants and all of Snoop Dogg's LLCs, knowledge and approval engaged in a common scheme of recruiting, enticing, and harboring plaintiff and individuals similarly situated to plaintiff with the intent for plaintiff to engage in sexual activities with defendants Snoop Dogg and Campbell in exchange for access to employment with defendants, which included but are not limited to being a dancer of defendant shows, promoting defendant shows, hosting defendant shows, and appearing on defendant shows such as GGN, Snoop Dogg's Double G News Network. So she's basically saying that they would entice her into doing things that she didn't want to do in order for her to keep her employment with Snoop Dogg, which is going to lead to the trafficking case because she is a dancer, and as they're probably going to different shows, she's crossing state lines. And if he's asking her or forcing her to ignore that quotation mark, or forcing her to engage in these acts that she don't want to do, then that will count as trafficking. All right. And at all times, material defendant Snoop Dogg's LLCs produced, hired for, operated, organized defendant Snoop Dogg's and other artists, including Don Juan's concerts, shows, performances, and videos that were distributed nationwide. In addition to this, plaintiff received gifts from Snoop Dogg, other rappers, and sponsors in exchange for performing on stage and dancing with them at their shows, which should happen if you are being paid to dance, right? We also have, this one is defendant Snoop Dogg's history of sexual abuse, harassment, threatening of females, and retaliation, and unconscionable acts that deterred and stopped plaintiff from filing earlier. So here she is basically alleging that Snoop Dogg did a lot of acts that prevented her from filing earlier. The history demonstrates continuous patterns of SA, reckless indifference for rights of others, and retaliatory threats and conduct with others, object to unlawful conduct. All right, so it's kind of a lot of stuff in here. Like I said, this complaint is 78 pages, so I'm kind of trying to skim it for you guys to see what's going on. Defendant Snoop Dogg refers to himself as a pimp. That's nice to put into a complaint. In an interview with Rolling Stone, Snoop Dogg said in 2003, I put an organization together. I did a Playboy tour and I had a bus follow me with 10 B words on it. I could fire a B word, F a B word, get a new hoe. It was my program, city to city. We're going to skip that part. Hotel room to hotel room, athlete to athlete, entertainer to entertainer. I get a couple of their players to come hang out, pick and choose, and whichever one you like comes with a number. A lot of athletes bought female genitalia from me. I dreamed of being a pimp. So he said this live in Rolling Stone in 2003. This allegedly what Snoop Dogg said. What do you guys think about them? All right, around January 28th. Oh, this is an old video, Vixen. All right. Around January 2005, Emmy-winning makeup artist named Kylie Bell stated and filed a lawsuit against Snoop Dogg that on January 31st, 2003, she had been drugged and that defendant Snoop Dogg R-worded her in violation of the penal code. He R-worded her because he was a gang member and that he would send someone to kill her if she reported the incidents to police. And then again, this is just kind of naming a bunch of stuff that he did prior. So she's basically trying to say, since he did it before, then it's very believable that he also did it to me. So we're going to kind of skip what he's all of these allegations from other people and try to get down into what he actually did to her. But there's something that he said to Iggy Azalea that I do want to kind of address. So let me pop over to this. Defendant said to Iggy Azalea, Snoop Dogg said, now I said what I said, B word, now let it go before I go all in on your pink punk A, yeah, you be, and say B, you're effing with the wrong N word, and your N word better check you before I do. You effing B, yeah, you effing C word. Okay. Yeah, I see why I do not keep up with celebrities like that because I didn't know Snoop Dogg was out here doing all of that. So we have why civil instead of criminal, and would the lack of criminal case or charges hurt her civil case? Yeah, I feel like that's been a question with the whole Chris Brown thing as well, because if this did happen to you, why didn't the police pursue a case? And the reason why they probably didn't pursue a case is because she didn't really have a case, and that's why she came to do civil. And like I said, the case does end up getting dismissed within 2 months. So it's a potential that she can bring it back when she has more evidence, but she's probably dismissing it because she's realizing that she doesn't have enough facts to prove that these things happened to her. All right. The plaintiff can't file criminal. That's for the prosecutor to do. Yep, that's exactly right. She could go to the prosecutor and say, hey, I want this case filed because this happened to me, but it's ultimately up to the prosecutor to decide if they're going to file that case or not. All right. So let's try to get down into some of apparently Snoop Dogg supported Free Bill Cosby. All right. So these are the acts that she's alleging happened to her. And so this is back from 2013. Around May 29th, 2013, during the time period, plaintiff was a dancer, model, and performer for defendants. Plaintiff Jane Doe and her friend attended one of Snoop Dogg's show at Club Heat Ultra Lounge, a nightclub in Anaheim, California. While at the show, plaintiff and her friend entered the VIP rooms where they ran into Campbell, which is Don Juan. By way of background, defendant Campbell is a former pimp. I don't know why that word is making me laugh. They're just referring to people as pimps and creates fear in women. Defendant Campbell referred to the girls who worked for him that got out of line by stating, you have to create fear in that female. You have to tell her that she do something wrong, that you going to kill her. And you have to instill this into her when she do something wrong, and you whooping her and checking her that she says to you, Daddy, please don't kill me like you said you was. That is an interesting threat. All right. And Magic Don Juan is apparently Snoop Dogg's spiritual advisor. That night, in line with defendant's common scheme discussed above, defendant Campbell invited plaintiff and plaintiff's friend to go back to Snoop Dogg's studio with defendant Campbell and Snoop. Plaintiff and plaintiff's friend agreed and went with them. Later the same night, plaintiff's friend left around midnight because defendants made her uncomfortable and safe, or made her feel uncomfortable and unsafe. Leaving plaintiff alone with defendant. Why didn't she leave too? If her friend felt uncomfortable and unsafe, we don't know. Let's go with it. Defendant Campbell offered to plaintiff, "I can take you home, or I can take you back to my place with me." Plaintiff asked defendant to drop her off at home. Shortly thereafter, plaintiff left with Don Juan and fell asleep in the car. When plaintiff awoke, plaintiff was still in the car with Campbell. After a short time, plaintiff and defendant arrived at defendant Campbell's home. Despite plaintiff's request that she would be dropped off at her home, plaintiff was exhausted and fell asleep at Don Juan's house. Around 4 a.m. the next morning, plaintiff awoke to Don Juan turning plaintiff to face Don Juan. Defendant Don Juan removed his male genitalia from his pants and forced his genitalia in plaintiff's face. Defendant Campbell repeatedly shoved his genitalia in plaintiff's mouth, said that it was flaccid, and he was forcing his genitalia into plaintiff's mouth. After some time, he turned away from plaintiff, leaving her alone. So apparently he could not get himself to work in order to fully assault her, as she is claiming. So what do you guys think so far? These are the things that she is alleging that happened to her back in 2013. She's basically alleging Don Juan of trying to force her to do things to him orally. Yeah. All right. Oh, got it. Hence the trafficking. Got it. Yes. So yeah, took her across state lines as a dancer and also tried to force her to do sexual activities. I guess I missed that one earlier. And we have Snoop Dogg, you N word, you was born a N-word. Yeah, that's basically Snoop Dogg. It was a lot of cussing in his comments to other people, and I didn't even go through all of them. So I can only imagine. Why would she fall asleep if she was uncomfortable? I don't know. I guess she said it was what, midnight. So maybe she didn't have a way home. Maybe she didn't have money to go home to catch a cab. Or 2013, was there Uber in 2013? I don't remember. But yeah, maybe she didn't have any way to catch a ride home or any money to catch a ride home. So she probably stayed. And she probably liked her job. A lot of times that happens when people want to like keep their job. They don't want to mess up or do anything wrong. So I don't know why she stayed. Maybe she'll let us know. Okay. Don Juan leveraged his relationship and employment with all of Snoop Dogg's LLCs to place himself in a position of power and authority over plaintiff to force plaintiff to engage in sexual acts. Because plaintiff worked for defendant Don Juan thought he was entitled to SA plaintiff. He Don Juan as a plaintiff because he specifically viewed plaintiff as one of his prostitutes whom he sexually abused with impunity. Moreover, defendant Campbell believed he was able to SA and better plaintiff because he provided plaintiff with other work with Snoop Dogg and other defendants, which which defendant all profited from. So basically, he thought he had the permission to SA her because he was basically providing her with jobs, which is what she wanted to establish in the beginning. They had the control in order to get her jobs, in order to help her make money. So she's alleging that they're doing this to her. They can force her because she needs the money, and they all profit when she comes and dance for them to help make them all money. All right. Don Juan discriminated against and harassed plaintiff because plaintiff's gender, which is basically trying to establish how they violated the act, that the FEHA Act. So based off of her sex and gender, Don Juan sexually harassed, sexually assaulted, and sexually battered plaintiff. Just trying to put that out there to establish that they violated these things. Subsequently, defendant Campbell told plaintiff, "Here, put this dress on." Plaintiff was not feeling well and replied, I can't sleep. I don't feel well. Defendant Don Juan insisted and aggressively stated, put the dress on. Let's go to Snoop's videotaping. I want to see if he will make you the weather girl. And come on, Snoop wants you there, implying that plaintiff did not have a choice. Defendant Don Juan urged plaintiff, Snoop wants you there. Let's go. This is a career move. Plaintiff complied in hopes in advancing her career. And so, do you guys feel sorry for her? Do you think that maybe she should have spoke up a little more in order to get out of this, or do you think that her career was really a driving force, or do you really think that she was afraid to leave because she was really afraid that they would harm her, kill her, um anything else that she might be alleging in this complaint? Why do you guys think she didn't leave basically? Although plaintiff had a stomach ache, she abided by defendant Campbell's demands and put on the dress. He ordered her to wear in hopes of attaining GGN weather girl position and another job with defendants through future dancing jobs. As other similarly situated women have described, it was common for defendant Don Juan to leverage his relationship, employment, and agency with all of Snoop Dogg's LLCs to place himself in a position of power and authority over these individuals to force them to engage in sexual acts. Defendant Campbell has additionally instructed others to wear specific outfits for him, which he found to be more attractive and thought his employer or Snoop Dogg will find more attractive. Defendants were all aware, encouraged, and allowed for Don Juan and Snoop Dogg to engage in, use, and profit from the scheme while making women engage in sexual acts on them in exchange for employment opportunities. The LLCs created, produced a web video series which was uploaded on YouTube called GGN, Snoop Dogg's Double G News Network. Don Juan was the star and actor on the show. Don Juan had the ability to bring actresses and models onto the show. Defendants profited from GGN and they received revenue from the viewers who watched the show worldwide. So she's basically just trying to establish that since they had all of this power over the show and she wanted her career to further. And so this is why she participated in it. And they think that and she participated in it because she thought she was going to make more money and that they would make more money. Why would she fall? So you already said that one. All right, maybe all of the above. On why she stayed, because she thought that they were going to harm her. Maybe they had threatened it before. All right, so popping back over, the weather girl position is what defendant Campbell told plaintiff she would have the opportunity to be employed for by explicitly telling plaintiff, I want to see if Snoop Dogg will make you the weather girl. Okay. And that this was a career move. They already said that. Don Juan offer of employment blatantly implies that money will be involved and that future employment was to be expected with defendants if she complied with Don Juan and Snoop Dogg's demands. Don Juan's statement showed that Don Juan and Snoop Dogg not only obtained revenue and profited from GGNs, but that defendant Campbell and Snoop Dogg had the complete authority to hire, compensate, and make plaintiff the weather girl. So she's really focusing on this weather girl role. The weather girls for the LLCs generated revenue and viewership, and this is her just trying to explain how she was going to make them money. But it's not really saying how they. Oh, I guess she's trying to say that it made them money, which included trafficking her because they made money off of selling her as the weather girl. Don Juan, in furtherance of the scheme, recruiting and enticing women to have sexual relations with himself, Snoop Dogg, in exchange for employment opportunities. Snoop Dogg will be more attracted to plaintiff and inclined to hire plaintiff as a weather girl. Moreover, Don Juan, unbeknownst to plaintiff, was essentially grooming plaintiff and preparing plaintiff to have sexual relations with Snoop Dogg in exchange for work as a weather girl. In short, defendant scheme, she has not been short at all, but now she's saying in short, it was defendant scheme and common practice for defendant Campbell to pimp out, prostitute, exploit females interested in working for defendants to Snoop Dogg and himself, thereby affecting interstate commerce. Okay, they're getting into the trafficking. This affected interstate commerce because defendant Campbell attempted to pimp out, prostitute, or exploit plaintiff in exchange for putting on in exchange for putting plaintiff onto GGN, an interstate internet television show which obtained revenue from individuals throughout the nation for defendant and would have obtained revenue, employment, and future employment for plaintiff. Oh, so she's not saying that they necessarily cross state lines. She's saying the fact that it was an internet show and they were making money from people in a bunch of states, that constituted trafficking because the internet show went into different states. That could be proved, but it could be hard to prove because are they intentionally putting themselves in those states, or are they just on the internet? She will have to show that. So let's move on. Did she get on with it? Oh, she has a lot more to go. All right. Do. She said that he undressed her with her eyes. Shortly thereafter, plaintiff had a stomach ache and went to the bathroom. She always has a stomach ache. While plaintiff was on the toilet, defendant Snoop Dogg opened the door to the bathroom while plaintiff was on the toilet. He then shut the door with him between the door and plaintiff on the toilet, standing with his pelvis and plaintiff's face while plaintiff was using the bathroom. Snoop Dogg removed his genitalia from his pants, grabbed plaintiff's shoulders, and ordered plaintiff to put it in her mouth. Plaintiff was panicked and terrified. She further recalled defendant Snoop Dogg criminal history, including, so all this time while she's in the bathroom, she's thinking of Snoop Dogg's criminal history, including his gang affiliation and previous R-word allegations, and reluctantly complied with Snoop Dogg, afraid for her safety and her life. So she did it because he was a gang member. A few minutes later, Snoop Dogg withdrew his genitalia from her mouth, visibly unsatisfied with plaintiff's reluctance and disgust of being forced to engage in oral with the Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg proceeded to please himself and finished on plaintiff's upper chest and lower neck. Why did she sit there for that? Snoop Dogg stated, "I'll be back. I'll get you something to clean up with," and left the bathroom. Snoop Dogg never returned. He left plaintiff there humiliated, terrified, and panicked. I'm sorry for her if these things did happen. Um, Snoop Dogg was aware of and knew plaintiff was there to obtain a job and hopefully be the weather girl. Let's see. Again, they're talking about that, but that was one of the incidents that she said happened that made her feel like she was trafficked. They kept saying, she keeps saying that they profited from the viewership. The assault and battery the plaintiff was subjected to is similar to other victims. These are just kind of like blatant statements. She doesn't really go into, let's see, shortly after, plaintiff, shocked, embarrassed, abandoned, and dejected, cleaned herself off in the bathroom sink and exited the bathroom. Locked eyes with Snoop Dogg, who once again leered at plaintiff. Plaintiff feared for her life and job security and walked away. And so it looks like there's some other incidences that go into it. She says she broke down and cried. Ted Chung, Snoop Dogg's friend, walked in the room with several other people to discuss the script for the show. Chung then told plaintiff to leave the room. She left the room, and then sat with somebody else. So yeah, they asked her to take a picture with Snoop Dogg. Make sure you bring this back up. A bunch of stuff that she's saying, and believe that he did all of this stuff because she was a female. And then so there's also some stuff that she goes over to constitute harassment, retaliation, defamation, false light, intentional infliction of emotional distress. We have Snoop Dogg saying gold digger season is here. Be careful, new nephews. Keep your guards up and keep your circle small. And so she's basically saying they filed this. Oh, they filed this on March 10th. Because I was like, this is February 9th. And she has it in the complaint. So yeah, she's saying that this was about her that Snoop Dogg posted, which was in 2022, to try to defame her. And some other stuff, but we're not going to go into everything that she's claiming. Let's go down to The causes of action. So she's talking about she's being trafficked. What do you guys think so far? She alleged some things. So the main events that she's alleging that happened to her is that Magic Don Juan was supposed to take her home, and he tried to make her do oral things to him, but he couldn't get his stuff to work. And then we also have Snoop Dogg, who also forced her to do oral things to him. But he was dissatisfied that she was not happy to do it, so he ended up just doing it himself in front of her. And yeah. So those are the two alleged incidences that she has against them. And they're from 2013, so pretty long ago. She waited quite a while to do that. Um, but I don't know. Oh, okay. Someone said I'm glitchy. I'm sorry that the internet is bad. I do need to get the Ethernet cord because it's raining out here. So I don't know if that has something to do with my Wi-Fi connection. So I'm hoping hopefully it gets better. I'm sorry guys. I have to work on that. All right. So we have, do you guys think that should count as sex trafficking? Because that's what she's suing for, guys. Remember, she's suing for sex trafficking. Do you think that counts as sex trafficking? Um, Her reason why it was sex trafficking was because she wanted to be on a show as a weather girl. And I don't know if she ever really established that she became the weather girl. But she wanted to be on the show as the weather girl, and that show was on the internet, so people in different states paid and could see and could access the weather girl. So, do you think that should count as sex trafficking? Because usually, trafficking, you're like crossing state lines, they're moving you places, and you're performing sexual acts against your will. So, let me know what you guys think on that. All right, trafficking. Do. I do not want to go through all of everything that she's saying. All right. So here is the law for trafficking. Whoever knowingly in or affecting interstate or foreign commerce or within a special maritime or territorial jurisdiction of the United States recruits, entices, harbors, transports, provides, obtains, advertises, maintains, patronizes, or solicits by any means a person or benefits financially by receiving anything of value from participation in a venture which engage in an act described in violation of paragraph 1, all of these things, the punishment paragraph of violation of knowing or accept where the act constitute in violation of this paragraph. Do. If the offense was effected by means of force, threat, force, fraud, or coercion described in Section 2E, or by a combination of such means, or if the person recruited, enticed, harbored, transported, provided, obtained, advertised, patronized, all of these things, they would be punishable by law. So I don't know if that happened. If they did interstate commerce. Again, she would have to prove that it's interstate commerce because it was on the internet. And I don't know if she was advertised or that he offered her up to other people. She might be better off just claiming regular assault. Because just her being a weather girl, unless I'm not really understanding what the weather girl role was, like, is she the weather girl on the show and then they send her there to go entertain other people? I didn't get that from what she was trying to explain the job as, because why would you want to be the weather girl if that's the point of the weather girl? So I don't know if they trafficked her, and I don't know if she ever really got the job because it was just too much writing and we didn't go through everything. But it doesn't really seem like, yeah, I don't know. Probably not, since she wasn't physically going over state lines. Right. And I don't think that she actually got the job. And I could just be talking because I skipped it, but it doesn't really seem like she got the job, and it doesn't really seem like the purpose of being the weather girl is for people. Maybe I don't understand the concept of the show, but if it's on YouTube, do they allow for that type of stuff on YouTube, to sell people on YouTube? I don't think so, because we can barely say SA. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. But yeah, so they also go through the sexual battery that they're claiming against her. Again, we kind of skipped over those facts because it's a lot that she has going on here. We have her suing for sexual assault as well. Going to be the same facts. For retaliation under Title 7. Title 7 of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 provides that it shall be unlawful employment practice for an employer to discriminate against any of its employees because he has opposed any practice made or unlawful employment practice by the subchapter because he has made charge, testified, assisted, or participated in a manner in the investigation, proceeding, or hearing under this chapter. Um, when plaintiff complained of the harassment, defendants retaliated against her by subjecting her to further harassment, threats of criminal charges, threats of lawsuit worth tens of millions of dollars, intimidation, defamation, and retaliation. Plaintiff took no corrective action, which resulted in plaintiff being subjected to continuous harassment. So they're basically saying that she was subjected to a hostile work environment and that they retaliated against her for speaking up for the things that were done to her or that she claimed were done to her. And guys, remember, I probably should have said this a little earlier on. This is just a complaint, so it doesn't mean that these things are true and that they actually happened. They haven't been proved. It's just what she's saying happened to her, and if she was to go forward in court, she would have to prove that it actually happened. They also said retaliation in violation of FEHA, and that was basically it's unlawful. It is unlawful employment practice to discharge. I cannot talk. I must be tired. To discharge, expel, or otherwise discriminate against a person because the person has engaged in protected activity. Plaintiff engaged in protected activity by making complaints of discrimination, sexual harassment, assault, and battery. And I believe this is because of her gender. So it's like basically you can't do that against people for the purpose of them being a woman. And so that's what she's alleging harassment in violation of this and all of that. So all of those causes of action. I don't know if she really proved her case here. Um, it was a lot it was a lot going on there. She claimed a lot of things, but I don't think she was able to really establish. But aren't these formal claims written by her lawyer? Yes, they are written by her lawyer. And so they should have probably did a better job of actually establishing that these things happen. I know a lot of people said that she brought the claims because Snoop Dogg was performing in the Super Bowl this year, and so she probably wanted a little bit of that money, which may also explain why she waited so long to file the lawsuit. Sometimes lawyers will file a lawsuit because they want the money. Like I told you, that complaint was 78 pages. So she probably paid a lot of money for that complaint in order for it to be filed. So even some people will take the case, even if the person doesn't have the case. Hopefully, that's not what these lawyers did here. But again, we didn't read everything. But from what she was alleging, I don't know. She's trying to blame it on some things that he has said in the past, but that did not necessarily happen to her. And like I said, she wanted to be the weather girl. If the weather girl was to sell her, why would she want that job? I don't know. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what the weather girl job is. All right. So the dismissal that Snoop Dogg filed is Not so not so long. It doesn't look like his facts are super long, so I'm just going to go over his facts to see if he disproves anything that she said here. And so I'm just kind of looking at the table of contents to see where I need to go in order to start this thing here. So page 4 is where the allegations start. Doom. All right, so this is Snoop Dogg responding, or Snoop Dogg and Don Juan responding to what she said and why they think that there should be a dismissal. All right. Plaintiff plaintiff alleges in conclusory fashion that the entity defendants sexually harassed, assaulted, and battered plaintiff. knowingly recruited, enticed, harbored, and obtained plaintiff and forcibly caused her to engage in unwanted sexual acts for commercial benefit. But the complaint provides no factual allegations of how the entity defendants purportedly did that. I agree with that. She just kind of is making blanket statements and then listing the laws. But in order to have a winning complaint or a complaint that can get you in the door, you have to plead facts sufficient to show that the person violated you in this way. She was just pleading facts and not really tying it to or showing that it had any relation to the actual laws that she's claiming that they're violating. But the complaint provides no factual allegations of how they did that, other than labels that complaint. The complaint does not allege what any entity defendant did, knew, or failed to do to support plaintiff's cause of action against them. Instead, the complaint lumps the entity defendants together and does not even make conclusory allegations about any specific entity knew or did. In violation of Rule 11, the complaint also ignores that the entity defendants cannot do anything to plaintiff in May 2013 because they did not exist then. So she basically named LLCs that were not in existence at the time of her allegations. Plaintiff alleges on May 29, 2013, she and an unidentified friend attended one of Mr. Brodus' shows at a nightclub in Anaheim, California. Plaintiff and her friend entered a VIP room where they encountered co-defendant Donald Campbell, Magic Don Juan. Plaintiff claims later that night Campbell invited her and her friend to Snoop Dogg's studios, and after they visit the studio, Don Juan took plaintiff to his house. Plaintiff alleges that when she arrived at Don Juan's home, that she was exhausted and fell asleep. Plaintiff woke up the next morning next to Don Juan, who, according to the complaint, shoved his genitalia in her face or in her mouth. Complaint does not allege any statements Campbell made to plaintiff about any future employment to him with Snoop Dogg and the entity defendant. So the LLCs basically and Snoop Dogg should not be liable, or anyone else before Campbell purportedly forced his stuff into her mouth. They go on to basically dispel the stuff about the weather girl. The same morning, Campbell told plaintiff to get dressed and come see Snoop Dogg. She claims Don Juan told her, "I want to see if Snoop Dogg will make her a weather girl or wants her to be there." And accompanying Don Juan that morning is a career move. Let's see. Now she's claiming that it's SA, and the plaintiff went with Don Juan in hopes of advancing her career. The complaint alleges plaintiff hoped to become a weather girl or obtain another unidentified job with the defendants. The complaint makes general assertions about the weather girl role. Nowhere does plaintiff state or any discussion she had with Snoop Dogg or the entities about that statement. Again, they're basically just saying that she didn't give any actual facts that would hold them liable. That's basically what she said, what they're saying. All right. And so then they kind of just repeat what happens in the complaint. So we're not going to go all through that either. All right. So they're basically saying that the complaints fell in violation of like the rules required to plead a complaint, so that they should dismiss it because she hasn't pled facts sufficient to prove her case. And then that they all fell. So that's that. I'm not going to go through all of that because it's a lot of words and I am sleepy. So here we are. Let me just come to the last thing. So they filed this request for dismissal back. Oops. Where we go? All right. They filed this back on. Oh, the hearing date is on the 21st. So they filed this. Let me see. On March 24th. And she went ahead and filed her voluntary dismissal before the actual hearing. So they're supposed to be having a hearing next week, and she went ahead and filed this voluntary dismissal. She put that the action is dismissed by plaintiff in its entirety. And she doesn't say why. She doesn't say if she wants it by prejudice or not prejudice. So like whether she can bring it back later. I hereby certify that on April 6, 2022, I electronically filed the foregoing notice for dismissal with the clerk. And yeah, so she doesn't say whether she wanted to be dismissed by yeah, if she wants it to be dismissed with prejudice. But we do have the thing that the court ordered, and it says, based on plaintiff Jane Doe's notice of dismissal, is hereby ordered that this action be dismissed in its entirety. Yeah, so they also don't say whether it's with prejudice or not. So it's a potential that she could bring it back at a later date. We'll see if she does, but it doesn't really seem like she pled facts sufficient enough to prove that these things, one, that they happened, two, that it should count as the things that she's suing for, and three, it didn't even connect with the things that she was suing for. So I think there were several reasons why it ended up getting dismissed. I don't think that she should bring it back. I don't think the complaint was very well written, for one. And then on top of that, a lot of the things that she alleged had to do with other people and speculative job opportunities that she claimed. And again, just being the weather girl that she's claiming that she wanted to be, I don't see that as necessarily promoting trafficking her, because she wanted the job, right? She wanted the job to be the weather girl, but then said the fact that she was trying to be the weather girl would have counted as her being trafficked. So why would she volunteer to do that? I understand wanting jobs and things like that, but unless being the weather girl was to then be sold and shipped off to be trafficked to other people, then I don't really see how that's trafficking. As far as assault and battery, she probably had a better case of that if they forced her to do those things that she said they forced her to do. Those would have been better claims. But the trafficking, I think that threw it off. And since that was the headline, it was probably pretty easy to get those claims dismissed. Like I said, she voluntarily dismissed the case, so it is a potential that she can bring it back. The judge did not say that it's dismissed with prejudice. So, like I said, they could bring it back. So, let's see what you guys have to say. We have, oh, we already read that one. We have Dabs B says, think she was paid. I don't think so, because Snoop Dogg just made a post about her on February 9th, right around the time that it was being filed. And then they filed their documents on March 24th saying that it should be dismissed. And then what, a week or two later, she voluntarily dismissed it. So no, I don't think that she was paid. I think that was too short of a time for her to be paid off. And I think that if she was paid off, they might have said that they settled it out of court rather than completely dismissing it. And so, no, I don't think that they would have settled it within a month or two, because it was officially filed by March 10th. They filed for the dismissal on March 24th, and then it was dismissed by April 6th. So that's even less than a month. I don't think that they worked out a settlement that quick. So, in my opinion, no, I don't think she was paid. I think she realized that she didn't have sufficient facts in order to prove the case. Like I said, if they did do those things to her in the bathroom and then at Don Juan's house, then she would have had a better case for assault and battery, but not necessarily for the trafficking. So the case is dismissed. She didn't win. Let me know what you guys think about all the cases that we covered. Remember, we talked about Chris Rock, we talked about Blac Chyna, and now we're talking about Snoop Dogg. This was like crazy when I was researching everything and topics to cover today, because I was like, man, this is a good case. This is a good case. This is a good case. So I'm happy that we were able to cover everything in this live stream. We said she led with the weakest argument, and you're supposed to lead with the strongest argument. She should have buried that trafficking somewhere down below. But I think she was trying to kind of grab headlines. Snoop Dogg is being accused of trafficking, and then trying to tie it to the fact that Snoop Dogg said that he was a pimp. So it just kind of made that headline for her. But yeah, she definitely led with probably her weakest argument. We didn't go through like all the harassment and stuff, so that could have also been weak arguments. But like I said, I think she would have been better off claiming the abuse or the battery or the assault, because if they did force her to do those things, then it will be proved. And I don't think her arguments for why she did what they told her to do were really that reasonable, because she just said, "Oh, I remember that Snoop Dogg used to be in a gang, so that's why I did it." And I'm just like, you're in a bathroom. I mean, with a bunch of people also around. So if he beat you up in a bathroom because you didn't want to do things for him, I don't know. I don't know if that really relates to gang activity. And then for Don Juan, she said she did it because she wanted jobs that he didn't even offer her at that time. She just knew that he could get her job. So did they really force her? And I'm sorry for this lady. I don't know. Maybe they did, but from the facts that she alleged, it didn't really seem it didn't really seem that forced to me. I don't think it she didn't present facts that they bribed her before doing it. She just said she remembered that they were a gang member, that she remembered that Snoop Dogg was a gang member, and that she knew that they could potentially get her more jobs. I don't think that is necessarily forced. When the jobs was offered, when he told her to go to the music video, but the job wasn't necessarily offered when Don Juan tried to get his sexual acts done. So, like I said, I don't think she's gonna be able to show that it was forced. Well, she wasn't. That's why she dismissed the lawsuit. So yeah, I don't think it was a good case. That is all that I have for you guys today. If you are still watching live, or if you made it all the way to the end of the video, make sure you leave a like on this video to boost it in the algorithm. And I will see you guys next Tuesday. Thank you for joining me live. And for those watching on the replay, thank you for watching the replay.